is for me to do things on this app. It's so stressful. Stress free, I mean.
Sorry. Okay. And Richard, what about you? Oh, Richard, you're muted. I don't know if you're speaking. Oh, Richard, can you hear me? Okay. And Delinkin, what about you?
Okay, I was kind of having downtime with my network. I don't know. I think you asked the question about what I find as uh, flexibility,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Kind of what brings you to using apps?
Oh, actually, one thing that really brought me to using apps is the need to keep my job, the need to ensure that I can get other things done while I can also get this done. You get me? So doing very many things at the same time. Basically, that's it.
Got it. And one thing for I can hear myself reverberating.
You said something?
There's a bit of an echo.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I said, do you want me to come again?
Oh. I can hear myself through your microphone.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to come again or something?
No, I got it. Thank you. I guess understanding, do you shop around for multiple apps, or how would you find the apps that you find work through? Where do you find these apps to sign up for?
Basically, I think I use more of web-based applications, other than the mobile applications. So I think website, I make use of websites, and if I would be going for mobile applications, then I find those ones on App Store. So this is the ones I use.
Okay. Okay. I guess now, Nelofar, going back to you, today, if you signed up for a new work-based app, how long would you expect it to take before you really start earning money?
That's a good question. I would say around, in my experience, at least 2 weeks. Just to get, if it's a new job, just get situated and familiar, and then you shouldn't automatically expect getting earnings on the very first day, is my thing.
Yep. And I'll try again, Richard. Are you still on the line?
Yes, here I am.
Oh, great. I guess today, if you were to sign up for a new app, how long would you expect?
Okay, I feel that I should actually start making money from work-based app probably 5 to 7 days. Even though the money may not be withdrawable, but then I should be able to make something at least from a work-based app from 5 days to 7 days.
Great. I guess switching gears now, I just want to learn more about recent experience with an app. So I'm going to go around the room and have everyone kind of talk about one app that they've recently worked with and had a really good experience with and why. So I think I'll start with Nelofar, if that works for you.
Sure. So, and then the new one is TaskRabbit. I really like it. It's very efficient and it's very location based. I like how flexible and easy to use it is, and it really caters its preferences, caters its search results based on your preferences. So you're not going to get irrelevant search results, and it asks you from time to time about your feedback, and that helps in like like tailoring the app to your needs.
Great.
I have a follow-up question there, which is, so walk me through the process of like how you would learn about, I mean, you talked a little bit about, I think, TaskRabbit or maybe like Lyft, Uber. Like, how do you think about which apps to use? And do you sort of know what role you're going to have when you go in? Or do you kind of like just, you know, look at or hear about different apps and then go in and explore what kind of role types they have?
I mainly just go in and look at different apps and then see what roles I'm interested in and what are most convenient to me. And then pick and choose from that subset of what I want to pursue further.
Got it. And where do you find out information about like which apps to use? Is it like based on ads, or are you like searching stuff online for like
Sometimes it's
situations?
online, other times it's less formal, like word of mouth, or someone's had a good experience with an app, like working for them. And, they tell me about it. I usually like to try it. Or if I see an ad online or on TV, that's something I usually like to try out.
Great. Thanks.
Great. I guess, Richard, I'll bring it back to you on a recent app you've used and kind of what made it a good experience and why. Oh, you're on mute. I don't know if you're speaking. All right, I'll pass it over to Darlington. What's a good app experience you've had and why?
Okay, one I can actually point out to and say is my favorite. I think that should be DoorDash. It's a food delivery company. So I've at some point made use of, just recently I've made use of the services, and it was a great one. I was able to order for food while I was working, and it was really, really great. It has very great features like tracking. I could select wide range of food, and it's gonna get delivered within minutes, and it's super, super, super great.
Great.
Sorry, is this one that you've worked for as somebody, like, were you actually a Door Dasher? I think specifically what we're trying to understand is like for apps that you've gotten paid for work from.
If I heard you correctly, you're asking if I worked for the company.
Yeah. Or I think what Ali's asking is what's the best app that you've worked for to get money for.
Company. I said I used the services at some point, and it was a great one.
Okay, so switching gears now to kind of an app that you've worked for and earned money from and had a bad experience with, and kind of what led to that bad experience. I'll pass it to Nelofar.
So when I first started working with these work-based apps, I tried, what was it? Thumbtack, I think what it was. Thumbtack. And I didn't like it because it was kind of out of the box, not really customizable to the user's needs. and very specific to specific people. So I thought it'd be a good idea to at least try it, see how it's like. And it didn't really fit my needs at all. And I think like a adaptable app should be able to fit most people's needs. It shouldn't be very specific that it's not catering to a wider audience.
Were you able to, I guess, get payment, or were there concerns of its like paying you out or any other kind of issues with it?
Yes, eventually there were some hangups in the payment schedule, so that was another issue, but eventually I did get paid for that.
How would you have expected it to be customized to your needs? Like, talk a little bit about the difference between the experience between what you said was really good on TaskRabbit and what was a little bit more challenging on Thumbtack, because I assume they have, you know, similar types of projects.
They do. They have similar types of projects. I just find, just as me personally, I find TaskRabbit to be more user-friendly, easier to work with, and the customer service and the customer support team was easier to work with. I just found that Thumbtack was a little bit harder to process the information, and I thought it was less location-based, in my opinion.
Gotcha. And on the support experience, like maybe just walk us through what that was like on TaskRabbit versus Thumbtack. Like, is it like, were you able to find self-help articles more easily? Were there modules within the app that you were able to easily access, or did you actually sort of get in touch with a person? I think what we're trying to understand is like, what does that experience look like when it's good, and what does that experience look like when it's not good?
So the good experience I had with TaskRabbit was everything was online. It was really easy to read. So if you had a question, most likely it would already be answered in their online documentation. There's no need.
Like an FAQ type thing.
Yeah. And then for Thumbtack, I scrolled through the existing documentation, but it was kind of hard to, or it was kind of badly organized, not really easy to sift through. And so I was forced to contact a person. That was easier, but then that still led to issues down the road of like communication and finally figuring out a solution. So it was more convoluted with Thumbtack.
Gotcha. And did you ever have to get in touch with a person on TaskRabbit? Or was
I
it
did, but it was very easy. There was no
it was easy in the sense that it was easy to like, because I know like, at least for me personally, it's like I find it impossible to get in touch with a person. Like if I have as a customer, like an Uber or Lyft dispute, it's like you have to go through, you know, 15 different menus and then they tell you, we just gave you your money back. What is that like? What was that experience? It sounds like it was kind of seamless for TaskRabbit.
we still have to go through the prompts, but it was fairly straightforward. And once I got through to someone, they were pretty direct about what to do. So it was just going from there.
Got it. And it was like, it was this is like an app, like chatbot based messaging.
Yes.
And then it was like, hi, I'm, you know, representative so-and-so, what's your issue?
Right.
Got it. Okay. Super helpful.
Darlington, do you have a experience working with an app that was just a pretty poor experience, and why? I don't know if you're muted. We can't hear you. There we go.
Okay. I don't know, but I'm actually trying to think about when. And I think, yeah, that would be Uber Eats. Yeah. At some point I was having some sort of problem challenges trying to make payments sometimes when I use the services, and it's always like a merry-go-round kind of situation trying to process my payment, and it's always kind of bringing an error message and stuff. So that's kind of one problem, and also I think the issue around getting handling what's it called, the integration with restaurant APIs and stuff like that. So I was like kind of trying to get in touch with some of the nearest restaurants and stuff. But unfortunately, most of the time I'm not being able to, get the list or the drop down of all of these available restaurants and stuff like that. I think that's kind of the number two. I really can't think right now about one more problem that I faced using that app.
Nope, that's really helpful. Great. So moving on to kind of the next area I want to talk about, just general concerns. So I know we talked about some bad experience we faced working with these types of apps, but now I want to open it up to more general, just issues you've had with these type of concerns about using an app for work. And Nelofar, I'll start with you.
General concerns about any apps, not just the bad ones.
Or yeah, just I guess when you're thinking about signing up for an app to work off of, I guess, what are your kind of initial concerns that you're worried about when signing up?
Disputes with, potential vendors or customers, or someone's causing a problem, not, being dishonest or something like that. I've heard of that happening, unfortunately. Security issues, like if you put your payment information, there's always a risk that it could be compromised. Not being able to flexibly fit your needs, even though they say so upfront, but they still are requesting you work for them at those times. So those are the main ones.
Got it. And I know, I guess thinking about more about these concerns with inputting your information, security wise, I guess, is there anything that would really help kind of make you not worried about putting in your payment information?
Some sites say they have like, end-to-end encryption or things like that. And just being upfront with the user at the forefront, just saying we have this type of security system, I don't know if they do disclaimers, they should, but disclaimers, if your information gets compromised, we can work with you, things like that.
Yep.
Got it. I have a question specifically on the payment and disputes, which is, so imagine you're signing up for a new app and you have some concerns that there will be, you're not really sure how to ensure that you get paid. Like, what would build the most confidence for you up front in terms of like, is it documentation on the website? Is it when you actually download the app? Is it like testimonials from people? Is it a list of like the companies that let's say the app is working with? Like, if you were concerned about that for an app, what do you think would help you overcome some of those fears, and like what areas would you look for that information?
I think the online ratings would definitely help with that, because that's usually where I look. And, there are sometimes like manufactured ratings, which I see that too, but the ones where they really like credit it to a real person and they list their name and maybe their social media handle or something like that. And that shows that it's a real person, not just someone who's paid to do it.
Got it. And are you talking about like Trustpilot, like App Store reviews, Better Business? Like, where do you actually go, or do you just go to like Google and type in like, I don't know, like what was the Thumbtack reviews or whatever?
Yeah, I usually go to Google, but I look at, App Store reviews, word of mouth, online forums like the Reddit. They usually share some opinions on those as well.
Got it. I guess, is there anything that the app itself could do, or like the website for the app, or would you put more weight towards that like social proof stuff?
I would say more of the social proof.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, cool. Ali, I don't know what you're super helpful.
Yeah, I guess kind of on the same note, thinking about really like, let's imagine you found a new app and you want to sign up and try it out for yourself. I guess right when you're thinking about really signing up, what information are you first expecting to like fill out in the app when you're signing up? And Nelofar, I feel like you're the last one standing in this group.
Sure. So basic information like name, email, phone number, that's pretty standard. Maybe an address or like your birthday or like specific preferences, tailored to the context of the app is what I would expect.
How would you feel about like work history?
I think that's a kind of controversial thing, so it depends. If the app requested your entire work history, you mean?
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like, so let's say I'm an app and I'm making this up, but I'm hiring people to do security at a concert, right? And I want to make sure that like the people that are gonna come in are either have done it before or are interested or otherwise qualified. Like, what do you think is the right kind of trade-off in terms of like you giving up information, but then also the company being able to understand sort of the relative levels of qualification? Like you're saying like, okay, like a full resume, way too much, right?
Yeah. So I think if the applicant can pick and choose what experience they can list and provide, and then the employer can just verify that and then follow up with them about it and ask, like just like an interview, and that would be a good trade-off. I think it's not compromising everything, but it's also giving the employer like verified facts.
Got it. So it's almost more like opt-in. So if you are like the biggest, baddest security guard or whatever for a concert, you can put that in, but if you're not sure about that, maybe you can just say, hey, like let me apply to the role or something and then find out later.
Yeah.
Okay. Super helpful.
If this the same app, I guess you're still signing up and you put in all your account and now you've got a account set up. If this app then asked to do allow a background check, how comfortable would you be with that, or how would you feel if they asked for that?
Personally, I would feel pretty comfortable with that. That's pretty standard practice nowadays. And, if you have nothing to hide, this shouldn't be an issue.
Great. And okay, so let's say you went through the background information and now you're up and running and you can start looking at kind of the jobs that they have available. What information would you want to learn about the app, or what would you instantly want to start doing on the app? Would you just want to scroll around and kind of find things for yourself? Would you want to be a guided tour, or would you want some tutorial videos? What would you kind of expect?
So I know some apps that you open them and then they immediately like give you a guided tour. And then, you should first ask, do you want a guided tour or not just immediately go into that. And then if you say yes, then of course they can start that process. But if you say no, then they can say it's fine. Then there's other resources on this app you can browse at your leisure.
And I guess what would you prefer from like a written FAQ sheet or a video, that a 2-minute video kind of explaining what the app is? What would be your preference there?
Preferably I would have both depending on the content and the questions. So if it's like more complicated, just a written response wouldn't maybe not cut for it. And so video would help to explain it better. And just the usability. Of course, if I'm working for someone, I'm gonna want to know when I get paid, what my schedule is, things like that. They're very practical in an app.
And let's say now you've signed up for the app, you went through your background check, you've learned more about the opportunities. How comfortable would you be going through kind of more of an interview process? Maybe it's recording a video and uploading yourself answering some basic interview questions. Maybe it's calling and having to answer some questions over the phone to a live agent or a robo agent. I guess, how would you feel about having to go through that process?
I've done all three of those, so I'm pretty comfortable, I have no problem with any of those. So being able to be adaptable and really tune your responses to that format is crucial, I think.
I think here's a question. So obviously it takes a lot of time and like effort to go through that process, right? What do you think are the things that like make you go for it in terms of like, is it looking on the app and saying, oh, like I think there's enough work on this app that will allow me to like make it worth, like what makes it worth it or not for you? Because I would imagine it's also a pretty bad experience if you like go through all of that and then there's like not really opportunities to get paid. You're kind of like, okay, now I've given up all my information and some of my time. So like, what are the things that an app can do to help sort of make it worth your while to go through that friction of
Having like set like a roadmap already of if you do this, then we'll give you this, and if you make these accomplishments, then we'll give you this guaranteed, or having like some sort of structured plan laid out. And even if you don't follow that structured plan, it still has like lucrative incentives for you to do well and have plenty of growth opportunities.
Got it. Are you aware of any apps that do like a particularly good job or not with that you've seen in your experience?
I think Indeed does a pretty good, well, Indeed's not really that type of app, but can it be
That's just like
counted?
a job board, right?
Yeah,
More- But you're
or
saying
like Glassdoor or something.
in that they make it clear that like in exchange for your information and time, what you'll get back.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Got it. Those are interesting to look at. I think the other question is just amongst great that you've had some experience across these different types of like interviews, which is like filling out questions, a robocall or like a video call, maybe a self one. Like, what do you think are which ones do you think are the best and the worst in terms of just like, which ones do you feel like you would prefer the most?
I think I would prefer like speaking to an actual human. I think that's just me. Instead of just recording myself talking to a computer or a robocall, it just feels like more natural conversationally to talk to a human on the phone or on video versus just a computer.
For sure. Makes sense.
I guess thinking about going through all this process, how long would you expect this onboarding to take? Setting up your profile, the background check, all the information, and learning more about the app. How like much time would you give to this type of process?
To be fair, I would give it like 2 weeks. I think that's a pretty considerable amount of time.
What in the process would be like an instant red flag? I know you talked about some other pieces before, but what would be something where you're like, I'm not really sure that I want to go through with either the onboarding process or the process of actually like picking up a gig? I know you talked about reviews and some stuff before, but is there anything else?
Just if they ask for things that I think are unreasonable, like if you have to travel, very far for a drug test or something, it's all on your own expense. Like they're asking for things that are requiring your time and money that are outside the means of reason within this opportunity is what big red flags that I have.
Got it. So driving distance, I mean, yeah, I guess especially driving far to pee in a cup, I could imagine is rough. What else would you think is like unreasonable?
Driving distance, and also so sometimes I've had like changing like work options. So if they say they're fully remote, but then they say they're hybrid and they expect you to come into the office 2 to 3 days a week, I think that's pretty misleading.
Got it. So just like shifting expectations. Yeah,
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense.
I guess getting back to like your daily routine with these types of apps. So how often do you, I guess, typically go in every morning or day or once a week to look at kind of what's available to sign up for opportunities, or what does that kind of behavior look like on your end of scheduling work?
So I usually go like every morning, Monday through Friday, at least once in the morning, and then maybe if I'm feeling like it, once at night, just to see what else is there. But on the weekends, I check it more regularly. And yeah, I just like to keep myself updated. I also get notifications turned on, so I don't have to check it all the time. There's something particular interesting.
Yeah, what's your preferred notification type? I know like over email or push notifications through the app or texting. What would you
I
prefer?
Push notifications, probably the easiest.
Great. And I guess the last subject we just want to kind of hit on is, I guess, building trust. So I know we've talked about a lot of concerns, payment, and changing expectations, but is there anything else you could think of that an app could do that you would instantly kind of gain trust through using it, so you feel comfortable using it?
I'm gonna be a little selfish here and say, oh,
Yeah.
what if they give you like a bonus on the spot, you know? Just like an incentive right away. Thank you for signing up with us. We appreciate it. Then we're giving you this incentive, no strings attached, and we're happy to have you on here. I think that'd be a great way to have someone keep their loyalty to the company.
Yeah, almost like a bonus for filling out your full profile or, yep, signing up fully.
How much would you expect that to be?
It's variable, it really depends. Maybe something along the lines of like $20 to $50, something like that.
Got it. And I guess like, so I think, you know, obviously it'd be ideal to get that at the point that you like kind of sign up, or complete your profile. How would you feel if that was like sort of after you completed, let's say, your first gig? Would that still like incent you and feel like, yeah, like would that still be a trust building activity if it was like, hey, like, thanks for signing up, we made you eligible for this $25 bonus, but in order to get it, you actually have to go and like complete this job or this gig.
Well, if I'm already like signed up for the job, then I'm pretty interested in doing the job already. So it shouldn't be a problem for me. So
Yeah.
at that point, it would be a little less, but it still would entice me to carry on and execute that.
Got it. And what about like social proof? We talked about like some of the reviews, obviously seeing good high quality reviews with people that have their name or picture, but like what about videos or anything like that, like in that? Would that be a trust building exercise, or like would you want to speak to somebody on the phone that can walk you through kind of expectations for the app or how a specific role works? Like we're just trying to figure out like what would be the best way to do that, perhaps in addition to potentially some incentives.
So like social media profiles, like, you know, you can ask questions to directly to the company on their social media profiles. You can message them through Facebook or something. And that's pretty direct, like it's a pretty personalized experience. And I think I like that over like just a random phone call or something like that.
Got it. How about talking to somebody who had worked for the app specifically versus like the company, like an ambassador or something that's like, hey, like I've actually done like X number of gigs for TaskRabbit. Like, do you want to have a conversation or text me or something?
Sure, I think that'd be a great option to have. You know, obviously I would be a little wary of what they're saying, you know, in relation to
Of
that
course.
honesty, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. Cool. Allie, I don't know. Do you have any more questions?
No, I think that's it. I think we've covered all the topics. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Nelofar. You'll be receiving a $20 Amazon gift card within the next week through email. But yeah, thank you so much, and we really appreciate all your feedback.
Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah.
You too. Bye.